I'm sure you've heard of it by now. It's a shortened way of saying Britain's exit from the European Union, or the EU for short. I feel like I've always been acutely aware of Britain's desire to, for lack of a better term, separate itself or remove itself from the rest of the EU, but I always thought it was more of a distant rumor rather than anything that would actually ever happen. I'll be honest, I don't pay much attention to foreign affairs, and I didn't think any of this was really a big deal until I spent a few days in London about a week or so ago. I noticed a ton of tourists during a time of the year that I definitely wouldn't consider peak season, and I started to wonder if maybe Brexit had anything to do with it. So I decided to do a little research. First, let's start with what exactly the EU is. The European Union is an economic and political partnership between 28 member nations committed to the prosperity of the region as a whole. Those 28 nations give a certain amount of money based on some tax formula that I'm sure is really complicated to the EU's budget every year to be given back in expenditures to the countries that need it the most. In a referendum held on Thursday, June 23rd of this year, more than 30 million voters came out to participate in the decision, the largest turnout since the '92 election, and the majority voted in favor of Brexit. But what exactly does this mean? Well, the US is Britain's largest export destination. President Obama has said that voting to leave the EU would put Britain at the back of the queue for a trade deal, and renegotiating a new agreement could take up to a decade. He said, the United States wants a strong United Kingdom as a partner, and the United Kingdom is at its best when it's helping to lead a strong Europe. Americans who are against Brexit believe that the special relationship the US has with Britain plays a key role in keeping the EU close and aligning them with our foreign policy objectives. Several days after the initial breaking news of Brexit, on June 27th, the British pound sank to a 31-year low, a drop in nearly 10% of its value compared to the US dollar. And naturally, Brexit is also affecting the Eurozone economy, where the euro itself dropped drastically against the dollar as well. So think about it. Britain is experiencing this really weird, paradoxical relationship with its decision to leave the EU and with their tourism industry. On one hand, the British tourism industry is definitely benefiting. People want to get the most for their money, and now is the perfect time to take advantage of the exchange rate. Many are also expecting a rise in holidays this year in the UK as well because of Brexit. But on the other hand, this clearly has, or at least is going to have, a severe impact on the UK's economy during this period of uncertainty surrounding their economic and financial place in the world market. In the end, about 52% of voters wish to leave the EU, and the other 48% wish to remain a part of the EU. The Prime Minister has said that Article 50, which is the document that allows this whole thing to happen, will be put into motion sometime in March 2017, but nobody knows when or if Brexit will actually happen. A lot of voters are saying the wording of the question was confusing, and a lot of other people are complaining that they weren't aware of the consequences that would come with leaving the EU and how it would sacrifice their relationship with the rest of Europe. There's also possible consequences for the global financial market as well, and this decision to leave the EU could result in a negative market reaction all around. Not to mention, somewhere down the line, this could hurt the US's economy also, but only time will tell. For Emerson College, I'm Jenna Lennon.